Good evening. You're watching The Social Network on NDTV 24/7, and the entire country is talking about the Mumbai gang rape. At a time when the question is being raised once again about how safe women are on the streets of India, we also pose the question, how safe are they anywhere else? At a time when a gang rape evinces a lot of sympathy and a lot of questions and a lot of anger and outrage on social media, it also evinces a lot of prurient curiosity. People asking, what was she wearing? What was she doing there? Why did she go? Maybe there should have been some other place. Why do women have to face this kind of scrutiny in every single space in their lives? We all, of course, have a lot of people who've been writing in to us about this and sending us video blogs. We're going to start with one of those, and then we are going to get our panel in.
Again, one more woman has been violated. What are we doing actually now? We're going to shout, raise a few more questions, do more dharnas. Are women going to be safe like this? I request the government to implement Justice Verma's committee's recommendations so that strictest of the actions can be taken against those people who indulge in such acts.
So are safe spaces for women shrinking every day? That's the question we are posing to a panel of guests joining us in Mumbai. Kamayani, and who's an activist. Also, Preeti Sharma Menon, a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. Joining us on Skype, author and sociologist Shilpa Phadke, and Madhu Mehra is also with us, Director, Partners for Law in Development. We are going to start with our Mumbai voices first. Kamayani, I'm going to go over to you. As a person living in Mumbai, do you get the sense, particularly with incidents like this one and ones we have seen before, that the safe spaces that Mumbai was once so well known for have started to shrink?
See, first of all, I want to say the issue of safety itself is problematic. As the badge I'm wearing, that life free from violence is our right. So I basically, as a woman, want freedom from fear. Safety, we have been listening since we were born from our parents, from the schools, from the colleges. So basically, safety means, it's a very patriarchal term again, which means that how a woman needs to behave, needs to wear, where to go, what not to do. So the issue here, whether it has happened in Bombay or it happened in Delhi or it's happening anywhere, the issue is that the society is patriarchal and violent, and that needs to be fought. And also the issue is that it's the police and the state itself who are doing absolutely nothing about it.
So, Kamayani, what you're saying here is that it's not just the violence and the issue of safety, but it's also the matter of policing, which brings us to actually a very interesting statement which has come from the Maharashtra Home Minister R.R. Patil, who said that women journalists will be given protection. Madhu, what do you think of a statement like this one? Do you think it's just once again reiterating the image of women as vulnerable, as women as unsafe, and of women needing to be protected?
Yes, you know, we are getting this whole kind of response where certain women are going to end up more privileged because they'll have an armor available to them, whether it's by the employer or by the state. That's not the ideal, that's not the goal we are working towards. We are working towards a place where women can live with equality and dignity. And I think if we flash back to what happened in December and after that, the public debate, there was so much talk of death penalty. And we now have a law. There's a tendency to reduce everything to one or two symbols and tokens. So you have a death penalty in certain situations that will somehow miraculously convert our system of misogyny into safety for women that will deter people. Clearly it hasn't. Crime, if anything, against women has not reduced. Reporting has increased. We know more and more what's happening. Again, the government's response, and I'm talking about the police, the parliament, the nodal agencies for women, which is like the National Women's Commission. We now have a law, we just sit back. We have a law and somehow the law is going to change our lives. It is not. We have a very misogynist environment where victims are blamed, where sometimes in situations like this, in this particular case where there's sympathy towards the victim, there's tendency to cast the perpetrators as somehow exceptional and extreme. This is normal. This happens across the board, in the homes, in the schools, in the workplaces. So the minute we reduce things to tokens we are really escaping we are avoiding the main problem here. And we are not going to address that problem unless we accept we are a misogynist society. We need to prevent and do something about it.
Madhu, I'm going to take that point that you were making and go over to Shilpa Phadke on this. Shilpa, what Madhu is essentially saying is that there's a token recognition, there's a token action taken, but at a time when there's clearly a system which is suffocating women, tokenism is not enough. You've studied this issue very closely. Where do you think there is a safe space for women, if there is any?
See, the thing is not of whether there is a safe space for women, because studies also show that the most unsafe spaces for women are their homes. So what we really need to look at is to think about what it means to actually claim space. That is that at this point, it's more important than ever before to assert our right to access public space, for women to be in public space, for women journalists to be to do the kind of assignments they want to do. Because one of the anxieties that develops out of an attack like this is that women journalists will be restricted, their assignments will be curtailed, and at this point, it's really important for us to assert that there aren't safe spaces as such. But what we need to do is to assert our right to access these spaces and not be pushed out of them because they are unsafe.